A transfer of rulership is coming, and the kingdom of heaven will be on earth. Righteousness will be spread throughout the whole four corners of the earth. Wickedness will be put down. Eternal life. That's what's promised to the elect. All right, all Israel. But it starts with the elect. And that's how the earth will be governed by immortals. Perfect angelic forces who are going to come down and rule on earth. Extraterrestrial bodies will be able to do things that humans do, but in heavenly bodies. Like eating, drinking. Did not Yahweh Shai say he's going to drink wine with us in the kingdom? Well, how do you drink wine with a spiritual body? Well, we're going to have out of this world capabilities in those new bodies.
Look, when Babylon is destroyed on fire, it's going to shake up the whole world. We're going to be beamed up. The hopeful elect, if we're the elect, we're going to be beamed up. And we're going to see this destruction pursuant to Psalms 91 and other scriptures. And we're going to hover over Babylon and we're going to see the destruction. We're going to get a ringside seat to the war of Armageddon. And then we're going to come back down. When we come back down to the earth, we taking everything over. The saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom.
All right. Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to us younger brothers, and peace and blessings and salutations to the hopeful lake out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bashem Al Shai. Pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful lake, the believers, the listeners who may have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashem Al Shai. All right. And what I want to get into, all right, today, dealing with, the beginning of sorrows, it only gets worse. Okay. Because what we're seeing now is a beginning phases, okay, of the sorrows that's to come. Okay. People, because right now, you can look at this as the worst it's ever been, and it only gets worse. All right. It's going to always be a time leading up, okay, until the complete destruction of America, the deliverance of the elect. Okay. Well, the worst time ever is going to continue to top itself in this time of tribulation. Okay. All the way into the ultimate judgment of America being nuked. Okay. And turned into a desert, and the elect going on those chariots, man. Okay. So I got some precepts I want to get into because it began here. All right. Because at the end of the day, the earth, has gotten to the point where everybody's out of pocket, man. Everyone's proud. Everyone rebellious. The Most High is treated like a joke. His son, all right, the Messiah, when the world ignorant calls Jesus Christ. His true name is Yahweh Shai. You know, they're taken for a joke in this society. Okay, people fear, all right, Esau, Edom, more than they fear the Most High, his son, in this society, man. Okay, and how is the Lord going to change that? Okay, through judgment. All right, so he's going to bring torments to this earth, man. Okay, and it's going to be back to back to back. All right, judgment and plagues that's going to hit this place until that last plague of the missiles, man. Okay, this is Psalms 119 and 126. It says, it is time for thee, Lord Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, to work, for they have made void thy law. Okay, and this is a society, okay, that has made void, all right, the law of righteousness, okay, which is the scriptures, man. Okay, you see, the law, all right, is supposed to mean the scriptures, the Bible is supposed to be the law of the land. Okay, and when the throne of David is established in the earth under Yahweh Shai, the Bible will be the law of the land. Okay, but we live in a society now, they have completely made void the law of Yahweh Bashim Shai. You know, it's made mockery of, man. Any likeness of righteousness in this society is mocked. Okay, it's ridiculed. It's called toxic. Okay, outdated. Okay, so now it's time for the Lord to go to work, man. You know, because people have got completely out of pocket, man. And the water, you know, Yahweh Bashim Shai, you know, for, you know, allowing us, all right, to be awakened to truth, you know, and giving us the gift, you know, of faith, man. You know, because we was on that path, okay, of rebellion. Okay, that was leading to what, man? This judgment, this punishment, man. Okay, so we had to be daily, you know, appreciative, okay, that the Lord, you know, saw fit, you know, to begin to make us meet and worthy, you know, for the kingdom, you know, we endure. Now, this is the book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 13. It says, put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Okay, come get ye down, for the press is full, the fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. Okay, so wickedness is peaking out, you know, because it's already, you know, an appointed measure that the Lord is going to allow for wickedness, man. There's already an appointed measure, man. Okay, in this society, under Esau, Edom, they're running to fulfill that measure of wickedness before, all right, the great judgment, man. Okay, now let's go here. All right, because I said we know, okay, that the Lord is reaching, all right, that point, okay, to where he's done talking. All right, and that's why we see, you know, brothers' channels getting clipped. Okay, and all these things work for our favor, because when the Lord, all right, allows, you know, this devil to remove the word, and ultimately that's the Lord causing the famine of the word. Okay, it ain't Esau, you know, getting some type of victory, okay, by the word being removed from the internet. No, that's the Lord tired of talking to niggas, man. Tired of playing. Okay, from the elites, okay, down to the least heathen, okay, and 2/3. Okay, it says, oh, let the wickedness of the wicked come to an end, but establish the just, for the righteous power trieth the hearts and reigns. Okay, so Yahweh Bashim Shai is finna bring the wickedness to an end. Oh, let the wickedness of the wickedness come to an end. It's time for wickedness to have an end. You know, and we're getting beyond going back and forth. Okay, you say there's all this back and forth and opinions and all this vanity. Okay, nah, man, it's time to bring this thing to an end. You see, all these petty arguments and, like I say, you know, talking points that don't mean anything. No, it's time to bring the wickedness of the wicked to an end, man, and the just to be established, beginning with Yahweh Shai. Okay, this is where we at. So we're finna see these horrific times come because it's finna put an end to wickedness, man. Okay, verse 10, my defenses of the Most High, which saveth the upright in heart. The Most High judges the righteous, and the Most High is angry with the wicked every day. Okay, how about Shemal Shai is angry with the wicked every day, man? Okay, and say while people are having distracted and into vanity and into this pettiness, man, the Lord is pissed. Okay, he get more pissed by the day. Okay, and when he finally unleashing the earth, man, it's going to be bad, as the scriptures say, the worst time. All right, since the earth was, man. Okay, that's a hell of a time. No one's considering that. No one's, it should be some type of urgency to get right. If people understood the concept of the worst time since the earth was, man. Let's get that. Then I got a quick video from the brother channel, Hopeful Elect 3, the brother Yaquab. All right, this is Daniel 12:1. It says, and at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince will stand for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was, since there was a nation, even to the same time. And that it says, and that time, all right, and at that time thy people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book, man. Okay, because the elect was written in the book of life from the beginning. Okay. So that's what we stand on. All right, that there's a great deliverance coming, all right, for his elect, man. And the Lord, is allowing us, all right, in this grace period, okay, to do the things pleasing unto him, man, as the elect would. Okay. So now it's a thing of enduring and holding fast. Okay. But we're coming to this time of trouble, all right, since it never was, like it never was. Okay. And it's gonna be overwhelming, man. It's gonna be back to back. And Yahweh Shai spoke of this, man. You see, the Lord is finna really show power. He's finna really show his displeasure in the earth, man. Oh, Salaki. Okay, so let's go here. Matter of fact, let me read this and I'll jump down. Okay, this is Matthew 24:6. It says, and you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. Okay, see that you be not troubled, because people are optimistic as if World War III, the scare, like it's just a scare, especially now when they think Trump, is this president of peace, which that's a hoax. Okay. But especially now they think this man is some type of president of peace. Okay. And they look at, the rumors of war. People have got numb to these things. That's another thing the Lord has allowed, certain things to happen, then things, will mellow out. Okay, and people have been rocked to sleep, have been numb, all right, to the prophecies constantly, fulfilling themselves, man. Okay, in the earth. It said, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows, man. Okay, and we're in the beginning of sorrows, man. Okay, we're in the beginning of Jacob's trouble. Okay, nigga woman losing benefits, troops, all right, got boots on the ground, getting active with these niggas, man. Okay, and this is the beginning of sorrows. It gets way worse. Okay, it gets way worse, man. Okay, and this is the anger of the Lord. All right, and the Lord has been begging, all right, through the prophets for our people to repent. Okay, but Jake has fanned the hand. So now the Lord finna fan the hand. Matter of fact, let me get that. Let me get that, and then we'll get into the video. There's Zechariah. All right, I believe it's chapter 8 or 7. Let me see. This is the book of Zechariah, chapter 7. Okay, in verse 10 it says, no, I'm gonna jump down to the point. Yep, this Zechariah 7:12 says, yeah, They made their hearts as an adamant stone, lest they should hear the law and the words which the Lord of hosts has sent in his spirit by the former prophets, man. And also the Lord will always dispatch, his prophets as his representatives, okay, to his people, okay, to address, all right, the things going on amongst us, to rebuke, to instruct, all right, to correct, to prophesy what's to come. Okay. So the Lord always dispatches his prophets, okay, to his people before great judgment. Okay. Then it says what? Because when the prophets are rejected, and the Lord is tired of his prophets being rejected. All right, what comes next? Therefore came a great wrath from the Lord Yahweh Bashim al Shah host. That's what's next. Okay, it's only so long you get to reject the prophets, all right, which are the messengers of Yahweh Bashim al Shah. Okay, the only thing left is wrath behind it, man. Before the warning, before the wrath, there's a warning. There's an extended warning, okay, before the quick wrath. You see, it said, therefore, it has come to pass that as he cried and they would not hear, so they cried and I would not hear, said the Lord, Yahweh Bashim al Shah host, man. Okay, when the Lord starts to get active with Jake, man, he's not going to hear, all right, the cries and the pleas of mercy. Okay, because the Lord been pleading, okay, and begging our people to come back through the prophets. Okay, the Lord has poured out his spirit via the prophets, man. Okay, and Jake, they pulled the shoulder, they covered the ear. Okay, so the Lord is going to have that same energy towards our people, okay, in the worst time ever. You see? So let's go here. I want to play this video, then expound on it a little bit after. All right. I said this from the brother. All right, Yaquab, the hopeful leg 3. Okay. So let's let this play.
Let's walk through what really happens when the grid dies. No, not in theory, not in a Hollywood CGI fest. Just a grounded day-by-day account of what life would look like if this country got hit with a high-altitude EMP. Day 1, you wake up and the power's out. Your phone's dead. Your car won't start. The refrigerator's off. No big deal, right? Maybe a blackout. Maybe a solar flare. Maybe your neighbor's meth lab finally exploded. Whatever. You'll figure it out. Until you look outside and notice everybody's having the same problem. Cars stuck in the driveways. Gas stations are dark. No cell service. Not even a dial tone on your landline, if you still even have one of those. And then someone turns on a battery-powered radio and realizes it's not just your neighborhood, it's the entire country. Day 2, denial starts to fade. No ATMs, no credit cards. Stores are cash only, if they're even open. And let's be honest, nobody has cash anymore. Water stops flowing in urban areas. Most city pumping stations run on electric motors. No power means no pressure. You try flushing the toilet and it just doesn't. People start draining local reservoirs and swimming pools for drinking water. Grocery stores are packed, not by shoppers, but by looters. Cops are overwhelmed, radios useless, and backups not coming. Hospitals running on fumes. Backup generators aren't built for long-term use. They're meant to bridge the gap between outage and repair. And guess what's not coming this time? Day 3 to 7, collapse begins. Perishable food spoils. Diabetics start rationing insulin that needs refrigeration. Those with CPAP machines, oxygen tanks, or dialysis appointments, they're in trouble. Traffic lights are dead. Roads are chaos. And emergency vehicles, the ones that still work, can't respond fast enough. There's no coordination, no comms. And then it hits. Pharmacies run dry. No antibiotics. No antidepressants. No refills. Mental health patients crash hard. Parents get desperate. Kids sick. Elderly neighbors quietly slip away in their homes. The second week, tribalism kicks in. The grocery shelves are empty. Trucks aren't coming. Why? Because modern trucks are computers on wheels. Newer diesel rigs have engine control units, ECUs, that are fried by an EMP. Even if you had an old analog truck, where's the fuel? The pumps don't work without power. And this isn't speculation. The EMP Commission confirmed that over 80% of our food arrives via long-haul trucking. When that stops, you've got about 3 days worth of food left in any major city. People start organizing by neighborhood, some to help, some to take. Week 3 and beyond, the slow burn turns savage. No waste disposal. Trash piles up. Human waste becomes a real hazard. Waterborne illnesses surge. According to the Department of Homeland Security's Black Sky Hazard Report, sanitation collapse would trigger a public health emergency within 30 days. That's their language, not mine. By now, we're back to pre-industrial living, only without the skills those folks had back then. No refrigeration, no reliable heating or cooling, no medicine production, and good luck finding a doctor who knows how to perform surgery without machines or light. And the government? They're gone. Not dead, just relocated.
Yeah, man, and it's just an illustration. All right, a PG-13 illustration, man, because it's going to be so much, breaking down. All right, it's going to be so many things that people can't prepare for. Even if you prep, all right, there's no way you can prep for every scenario that's going to be happening, man. Okay, there's no way to prep for every scenario that the Lord is getting ready to bring. Because he didn't even mention the pestilence that the Lord is going to allow to be turned loose. Okay, the wild beast. Okay, let's go into those things. All right, let's add into the mix. Okay, let's go to Jeremiah. Okay, the truth is just a beginning of you niggas' problem. Okay, losing food stamps, hood housing, that's the beginning. Okay, of problems for our people, man. Okay, that's the beginning of problems for everyone, man. Okay, because it's Jacob's trouble. Okay, and it's also going to be the judgment the Lord's bringing to the earth, man. Okay, he said, Jeremiah 15:1, it says, then said the Lord unto me, though Moses and Samuel stood before me, yet my mind could not be towards this people. And this addressed to you tribes. Okay, who have, turned the shoulder at the warning. Cast them out of my sight and let them go forth. Because Moses and Samuel, they was they was mediators. Okay, between the Most High and Israel. And right now, all right, the mediator is who? Yahweh Shai. Okay, which comes in the volume of the book. Okay, which we as ambassadors of, all right, Yahweh Shai, You know, we come in that spirit, all right, to warn, to correct. Okay. But if you ignore that warning, well, you're going into this time with no mediator. Okay, because we need help from the heavens to get through this. Okay, this truth, makes us realize how vulnerable of a situation we in. Okay, but you look at our people, they become more proud. You look at this world, you Edomites too, they become, extremely proud. Even you low level Joe six pack, 2-time loser Edomites. Okay, but you see the Lord has pride leaking out, because of things are getting, harder, man. Okay, more strain. And it shall come to pass if they say unto thee, whither shall we go forth? Then thou shalt tell them, thus saith the Lord, such as are for death to death, and such as for the sword to the sword, and such as for the famine to famine, and such are the captivity to the captivity, man. Okay, because I said you're gonna have mercenaries, you're gonna have these militias, because he said, well, things are gonna get tribal. Okay, you're gonna have these cliques, these death squads. Okay, starvation is going to be, it's going to take a major uptick. Okay, you proud, overweight Americans. Okay, you goddamn glutton, pride, overweight Americans. Hey, these things everything is going to take an uptick, man. Okay, it says, now I will appoint over them 4 kinds, said the Lord, the sword to slay, the dogs to tear, all right, and the fowls of heaven, and the beasts of the earth to devour and destroy, man. So you're going to have wild beasts that's going to be in the mix. Okay, people being eaten, by buzzards. Okay, and they're still living. Because see, when you're famished, when you're going through a famine, you get so weak you can't even move, but you're still alive, man. The Lord finna get the attention of the earth, man. When it says that the people gonna dwell in torments because of great pride, that you're gonna dwell, you're gonna abide in the torment, man. And we fear that, man. You see, that's why it's a daily thing of self-examination, man. That's something to be feared, man, to fall into the hands of a living power. Okay, but this earth has been conditioned, okay, to not even consider a higher power, a higher authority outside of Esau. Okay, but that's going to change drastically, man. Okay, let's go here to Ezekiel, then we'll segue over back to Second Ezra. So let's get this in Ezekiel 33. Okay, there's a major judgment, for ignoring, all right, the warning. This is Ezekiel 33 and 1. I'm gonna jump down. Salaki. Ezekiel 33. To get straight to the point. Ezekiel 33 and 33. It says, and when this cometh to pass, you see, when all these things finally happen, okay, when all these things set in, when people are actually starving, when women are being ravished and men are being slaughtered, okay, when that's the scene, then imagine how this is going to sound, because the Lord said, do it in my hearing. He told the angels, hey, go have no pity, spare not, and do it in my hearing. The Lord wants to hear the agony, okay, of what he's about to do to the earth, man. The Lord wants to hear judgment go out. You see? It says that when this cometh to pass, lo, it will come, then you shall know that a prophet have been among them, man. Then they're going to know a prophet have been among them when these things happen. And when people are, when prophecy is their reality, man. And they're on the bad end of it. You see? They're on the bad end of prophecy, man, because there's a good side of prophecy, man. And it's for the elect. That's why you go here. Okay. Let's get this. 2nd Ezra 16. Okay, and 37. It says, behold, the plagues draw nigh and are not slack. And all these things are here. Okay, an EMP, they can happen instantly. Okay, the economy collapse, they can happen instantly. Okay? And things are going to, the ripple effect of these things, it's not going to take long for this place to get into a purge like atmosphere. Okay? Because, first of all, these people are so entitled. Okay? It's not going to, okay? And you take, these certain perks and conveniences from this entitled society, it's not going to take long for it get to a purge atmosphere, man. Okay? It's when a woman, okay, verse 38 is when a woman with child in the 9th month bringing forth her son with 2 or 3 hours of her birth, great pain compares her womb, which pains when the child coming forth, they slack not a moment. Okay, these things slack not a moment. All right, and we're coming to a time to where these things are just going to come back to back to back, man. This is just the beginning. These little things that have people frantic now, okay, and scrambling. This is just the beginning. Okay, things are going to become more frequent. Bad news is going to be more frequent. Okay, calamities is going to be more frequent. It's going to be more intense. All right, the Lord is he's gonna up the ante on you people. Okay, right now it's still, you know, a slow drip. We're dripping faster. Okay, but it's still a drip. Okay, the Lord eventually gonna turn that knob. All right, it said, which pain when the child cometh forth, they slack not a moment. Even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon thee on every side. All right, sorrow shall come upon it on every side, man. So from every angle, the Lord, all right, is getting ready to torment this place, man. Okay, and you people, man, and Lord will, He keep the spirit on us to endure, to continue to be pleasing unto Him, to be, within His good graces. Okay, and we be delivered, and we have mercy in the times of calamity, man. Which, and we believe, okay, that He can do it. We just pray to endure, to get to that mercy, man. So, Lord will, you brothers, all right, and you sisters, all right, we're edified once again. We give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Kakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples towards younger brothers, and peace and blessings, salutations to the hopeful like Shalom.